Julie Fahey is the new majority leader of the Oregon House. The Democrat, whose district includes West Eugene and Junction City, was elected to her leadership position just before the current short legislative session. She's a former chair of the Lane County Democratic Party and former treasurer of the Oregon Democratic Party. Representative Fahey, thanks for joining me on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
Well, you are chair of the House Committee on Housing, and housing issues are at the forefront in Oregon. So how are these issues being addressed in the legislature, especially during this session?
Well, we are building on our work that we've done over the last few years to invest in addressing the issue of homelessness in the state and housing affordability. So we are proposing a $400 million package to increase the supply of affordable housing in the state, help our local jurisdictions and nonprofits address the challenge of homelessness, and make sure we can invest in folks becoming homeowners and to make sure that they can stay stably housed.
$400 million. How is that being allocated among those priorities that you just gave me?
There will be a statewide investment of $165 million to address homelessness, to make sure that we're investing in the services and programs that actually can get people on the path out of homelessness. So from safe sleep sites to shelter to permanent supportive housing and the services that will actually get people on that path out of homelessness. And a little over $200 million on increasing the supply of housing in this state, because that's one of the root causes of the challenges we face with housing affordability, and then about a $20 million investment in increasing homeownership opportunities in the state.
You know, we often hear the term affordable housing, but what's affordable for me might not be affordable for somebody else, of course. So is there a standard? What is affordable housing? How do we define that?
Well, when we in the housing policy world talk about affordable housing, what we're usually talking about is subsidized housing. So state that housing projects or buildings that require some type of subsidy to be able to be built, and that are subsidized for the residents who live in them. So that when I think about housing issues, it's everything from temporary shelter for folks who are experiencing homelessness through permanent supportive housing where people receive services to help them get on that path out of homelessness, to subsidized housing. And then we need to make sure we're increasing the rate of housing generally in this state, the number of homes that we've built in this state generally. So it's all of those things, but the affordable segment of that tends to be around what is publicly subsidized.
Eugene's Mayor Venice joined Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler asking for state money for temporary homeless shelters. Is that going to happen?
Part of the package on investing this $165 million in addressing the challenge of homelessness will go to some of the local jurisdictions so that they can fund outreach and service navigation for people experiencing homelessness, temporary shelters, things like safe sleep sites, safe campsites, hygiene services, basically to help our local jurisdictions, cities and counties address this challenge of homelessness.
We learned this past week that hundreds of families displaced by the wildfires of 2020 are still living in temporary housing right now. Is this session addressing their needs?
That is definitely an ongoing conversation. The state has received a substantial amount of resources from the federal government to help get these folks back into housing. And that work is definitely underway. Construction has been a little slower than I think we had hoped because of some of the supply chain and labor disruptions that are being experienced. But part of our package in this that we're proposing in this session, we hope will help ramp up production, particularly of things like mobile homes. We know that unfortunately in Southern Oregon, several mobile home parks were destroyed in the fires. And so we have a great need to have rapid production of those mobile homes to replace those units.
Yeah, Oregon is fortunate this year, and you kind of alluded to that in your last answer, in that we have close to $2 billion to work with, to allocate. It's one-time money, but how concerned are you that we will be able to use that money effectively and leverage it into some permanent solutions?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We have resources available from the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, and as well as some pretty positive revenue forecasts from the state. What we need to make sure that we are doing is investing in those challenges that Oregonians are saying are the top priorities for the legislature to take action on. We've heard pretty loud and clear that that's, addressing the homelessness challenge, bringing down the cost of living, supporting our schools, investing in community safety and violence prevention, and supporting small businesses. So those are the priorities of this session, making sure that we can make meaningful progress on those, as well as making sure we're setting aside some of that revenue for when, the economic picture isn't quite as good in the future. So I think we're going to do great things in all of those areas and make sure we have solid reserves so we're prepared for the next downturn.
Recent legislative sessions have seen their share of partisan bickering, including walkouts by Republicans at times. Have the Democrats and the Republicans in the legislature been able to work together this particular session?
Well, one of the things that happened right before session is that in the House, all three of the top leadership positions are now occupied by new people. So myself as the Democratic caucus leader, Representative Brees Iverson is the Republican caucus leader, and our new speaker, Dan Rayfield. So what that did, I think, is provide an opportunity to just reset the table and have a new dynamic and a new opportunity to work together in a different way. I've been really pleased by some of the progress that we've made both this session and in the special session we had in the legislature in December, where we were able to come together and come to agreement on taking action on some of the big challenges that are facing the state.
Representative Julie Fahey, thanks for joining me on Eye on Northwest Politics. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.